All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to crack open James Clear's Atomic Habits and build a really practical blueprint, for making changes that actually stick.
Okay, let's jump right in. Who doesn't want great results, right? We all dream of that successful business, or getting super fit, or finally finishing that novel.
But here's where James Clear throws a curveball. He asks a much more important question. Do you actually want the lifestyle that comes with those results? Think about that for a second, because the answer, well, it changes everything. And that question leads us right to the first and maybe the most important idea of the whole book. It's the foundation of everything. True, lasting behavior change isn't about your actions, it's about your identity.
I love this quote. It completely reframes how you think about your day-to-day. Every little thing you do, it's not just a task you check off a list. Nope, it's a vote. It's you casting a ballot for the kind of person you want to become.
And this really shows you what that looks like in practice. So on one side, you have the old way, the outcome-based approach. The goal is just to read a book, right? Or run a marathon. It's a finish line. But look at the other side, the identity-based approach. The goal isn't the book. It's to become a reader. It's not the marathon. It's to become a runner. See the difference? You stop chasing the result and you start embodying the identity. And guess what? The results just happen.
Okay, so if identity is the destination, how do we get there? Well, that brings us to our next piece of the puzzle, your systems. Think of your system as the engine, the thing that actually powers you forward, day in and day out.
This is why it's so important to ask yourself this question before you even think about goals. Because your system, that's your lifestyle. It's how you spend your time. And let's be real, if you hate the process, if it's just miserable, are you going to stick with it? No way. The results won't last. The work itself has to feel like a win.
It's all about building a collection of daily habits. That's your system. That makes your ideal identity pretty much inevitable. The results just start to follow naturally. But okay, a great engine needs a great design, right? So how do we actually build this thing? How do we make it work in the real world?
Well, that brings us to the really practical, hands-on part. These are the levers you can actually pull. And the first one, maybe the most powerful of all, is designing your environment.
Seriously, take a look around whatever room you're in right now. Ask yourself this question. You'll probably realize your space is already pushing you in certain directions. I bet your couch is pointing at the TV. Your phone is probably, within arm's reach? These aren't accidents. Your environment is already shaping your habits. James Clear tells this great little story. He'd buy a bunch of healthy apples, stick them in the crisper drawer in the fridge, and a week later, they'd be bad. Why? Because they were hidden, out of sight, totally out of mind.
So what did he do? He just put them in a bowl on the counter. And boom, gone in 2 days. The lesson here is huge. He didn't magically get more willpower. He just created a better design. He made the good habit the most obvious, easy choice.
And this is the secret sauce, really. You want to make your good habits the absolute path of least resistance. And you do that by making the cues obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. So let's say you want to practice guitar. Don't just make it obvious by leaving it on a stand. Make it attractive by putting it right next to that super comfy chair you love to sit in. Make it easy by having the sheet music already out. And make it satisfying by putting a big red X on a calendar every day you practice. You're literally engineering your own success.
Okay, so you've designed your environment. Awesome. What's the next lever we can pull? Well, this one is all about momentum. Because let's face it, the hardest part of any new habit is just starting. So Clear came up with this brilliant rule to help you master the art of just showing up. It's called the 2-minute rule. And the whole idea is to shrink your new habit down until it takes less than 2 minutes. So read before bed becomes read 1 page. Do yoga becomes roll out my yoga mat. The psychology behind this is it's genius. It lowers the barrier to entry so much that it almost feels sillier not to do it. You're not worried about the end goal, you're just focused on mastering the first 2 minutes. And I know, this might sound kind of ridiculous, right? But Clear tells the story about a guy who lost over 100 pounds. And his first rule for himself when he started going to the gym, he was not allowed to stay for more than 5 minutes. And this is the whole point. He wasn't trying to get in shape. He wasn't focused on the result at all. His only goal was to master the art of showing up. He was becoming the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. That was the vote he was casting for his new identity, and he made it almost impossible not to cast that vote. This quote really just sums up the whole philosophy perfectly. A habit has to be established before it can be improved. You have to get consistent first. Master showing up. Once that's automatic, then you can start thinking about making it better. You standardize, and then you optimize. But what happens when you're doing all this stuff? You're showing up, you're consistent, but for weeks, maybe months, you're just not seeing any results. It's so easy to give up there, right? And that's exactly when we need to adopt what's called the stonecutter's mindset. This incredible analogy, which apparently hangs in the San Antonio Spurs locker room, it's perfect. It reminds us that all that effort isn't being wasted, it's being stored. Think of it like an ice cube in a room that's slowly warming up. It goes from 28 degrees to 29, 30, 31, and on the surface nothing seems to be changing, but all that energy is building up. And then, bam, at 32 degrees, you get a breakthrough. It wasn't that one final degree that did all the work, it was the 100 that came before it.
So, as we wrap all this up, the question to leave you with isn't about some huge, crazy goal you're going to achieve tomorrow. It's much simpler. It's about the small vote you're going to cast for the person you want to become today. So, what's one tiny, 2-minute action you can take, like right now, to cast that vote?